Hello guys, welcome back. In our last class we discussed about what the JavaScript is and then how to execute JavaScript, and we discussed mostly in the context of browser. So you have seen what is the purpose of JavaScript and why it was invented, and then we have executed a couple of lines of code in the browser's console, right? That is good for to get a basic understanding of what it looks like working with JavaScript. But if you want to develop bigger programs and bigger applications and learn that language itself, we cannot write that kind of programs in the console of a browser. What we'll have to do is you have to write some HTML, and then you have to incorporate some JavaScript within the HTML. So basically, you will have to learn what HTML is, and then there's additional learning required to. But in reality, like what you're looking for is to learn JavaScript first, right? Without worrying about lots of other stuff like HTML, CSS, etc. So for that purpose, what we can do is the easiest way to learn is using nodeJS on your laptop, and then you can run the JavaScript on nodeJS. Okay. So like I mentioned in the earlier video, I told you to look into what is V8 engine, right? I also mentioned a little bit about it in the lecture, that V8 engine was part of Google browser, which is what will understand JavaScript in the browser. And then in the other browsers, there is other types of JavaScript engines, right? So what Ryan Dahl, he is the person who introduced or invented Node.js. He used V8 engine behind the scenes, and then using that engine, and in addition to that, he added more to work on the server side. Okay, so he created this Node.js engine. So the purpose of Node.js engine is, you can, in a simple statement, you can call Node.js as a runtime environment for JavaScript, right? So if you want to run JavaScript on the browser, browsers have these JavaScript engines already within the browser. Like every browser has that engine, right? So client side, that will take care of it. But if you want to run JavaScript on the server side, you need Node.js, right? So for example, if you compare other languages like Java, Scala, JVM based languages, you need a server to run that code, right? So in that case, it requires Tomcat or WebLogic, WebSphere, those kind of servers which can understand JavaScript level of code. That is a runtime environment for that. For JavaScript, Node.js is a runtime environment, right? So what we can do is we can install Node.js in your machine. If it is Windows, you can install Windows version of it. If it is a Mac, you can install Mac version of it. So I can quickly show you what it is on the different versions of Node.js. So you can go to nodejs.org, where you can find everything about Node.js and what kind of libraries it has. But for now, you don't have to too much worry about what it is. In the later videos, we will get into once you develop more applications using Node.js. Okay. For now, just understand this: Node.js is a runtime environment for JavaScript. What that means is you can run the JavaScript using Node.js, right? So in the Node.js org, you see different kinds of versions here: Windows, Mac OS, right? Or Linux version, right? So go ahead and install that on your machine, and on my machine it's already installed. So once you install, go to your terminal and then check your version of Node. In my case, it is a little bit older version, but that should be fine for now. But in your case, you would install the latest version, or if you already have Node.js installed, that should be fine, right? But it's always better to have a latest version. So do that. And then, like I also mentioned in the previous video, that we're gonna use Visual Studio Code as an editor. So to write any type of code, you need editor, right? You could write in a notepad, or you can write in some text file. But to get to have a better development experience, you need like good IDE, integrated development environment, like editor, right? So that you could use some extensions that will improve your developer experience, right? For that, the latest IDE these days, like everybody is using this VS Code. In short form, we call it as VS Code, and it comes with the basic with the bare bones, and then based on your requirement, you can install different kinds of extensions on the VS Code. Okay, so go ahead and install according to your OS version. So in my case, I have it installed. Then basically you have different kinds of options here. So depending on type of project that you develop, or depending on your requirements, you will have you can explore different kinds of extensions here. So you go to this extensions tab and then install whatever. For example, if you are working with Java, right, search for Java, and then you will see different types of extensions for that. Same thing goes for JavaScript as well. So if you look for JavaScript, see, basically these are kind of extensions that will show you, like if you write any syntactical errors, it will show that, right? Easy to fix, kind of also to format your code, all of that. But for now, you don't need to do any of this. Just to understand how you can execute JavaScript code using nodeJS, right? So in the last exercise, what we have written a couple of lines of code, right? So what we can do here is, for example, we can name it hello world.js, which is a popular the term, like when you're learning some new language, you start with hello world, right? Always make sure you name these files with the .js extension, which represents JavaScript, right? So once you get comfortable with the JavaScript, and then on, like, you will go beyond JavaScript. So you will come across like TypeScript or different versions of the different flavors of JavaScript, right? So yeah, that's fine. Like you will learn more about it when you get to that point. But let's start writing the code. So let's say I want to print hello world, right, or welcome to narsicloud, right? In JavaScript, to print something, we go console.log, and you give in quotes or double quotes, right, welcome to narsicloud. That's it, right? This is the line of JavaScript code. And then go to your terminal here, open new terminal. Then all you have to do is, since you have nodeJS installed already, you would see in the terminal. Otherwise, what you have to do is, once you, depending on how you install nodeJS, you need to set the path of where you install nodeJS or where you saved your nodeJS binaries, and then you need to put that path in your path environment variable. If it is Windows, you need to put in the path variable, so that when you open the terminal knows where node.js is. For example, if I type node here, it knows node, right? It's able to recognize that. If you don't put that in path variable, then if you type here, it will say that command not found. If I say node, it will say command not found, right? So, but anyways, let me know, like, if you have trouble installing, ask in comments, like I can make a video on that. So let's run this code. To run that, let's say you have node.js installed, it's able to recognize here node, and then you provide a file name to that. What is file name here? Hello world.js. What would you expect? What we are doing is, we are sending the file name to node, right, as input. Node will go through line by line. It interprets, it can understand JavaScript, right? And then enter, you see, welcome to narsicloud. So you literally executed JavaScript on the backend. That's what you just did, without using any of the browser's client side stuff. So let's quickly write sum of two variables, right? Let's say a equal to 10, const b equal to 20, const c equal to a plus b, right? And console.log c, right? Let's run that. What would you expect? You would expect this print, and then the sum of these two variables should be 30, right? See, 30. It is that simple, because it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have so many steps to run a JavaScript. Like, it doesn't have a compile step, it doesn't generate like .class file, something like that, like in Java, right? So that's why it's easy to learn JavaScript. So don't worry about what this const or the syntactical of this code. When you in the next video, like, we're gonna start the concept wise lectures, right? So until now, in this last video and this video, you got a little bit background about JavaScript, and then now you know how to write code in IDE and then execute using nodeJS, right? And get comfortable with this, and explore, if you have some time, explore like what nodeJS is. Try to read from the documentation. Always rely on the just documentation alone. Don't Google anything without reading the documentation, because documentation is the source of truth, right? Any technology you want to learn, if you have some questions, always refer to the documentation, right? That is the best practice. You can become a best developer, right? All right, so let's catch up in the next video. We're going to start with the concept wise lectures, right? See you there. Bye.